This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With JustinFREAKIN.
Is this thing on? I updated the computer right before the stream came on, so apparently it switched my inputs or some shit. Welcome, the Gimp! The Gimp has arrived! Good evening, welcome. It's a freaking Wednesday. It's a freaking Wednesday. Thursday if you're Warlord over in the UK. It is a day. That is correct. It is a day. Jinx clinically owes Warlord a Coke or whatever it is that the Brits drink. That brown liquid or something that you guys put on everything. Clinically, you owe Warlord that brown sauce. I think they take shots of it over there. I don't know. Good evening. Welcome. I don't know what she's bowling upstairs or something. I have no idea what she does up there at night, but there is something rolling across the floor. She kind of cute. She said hey to me the other day. I was taking out the trash. She's out front with her little kid. Like, okay. Take shots of American tears. Plenty of that going around. My apologies. I just really woke up. I worked all night, worked all day. Finished the shit I had to do, and it was like 4:30. I ate some food, and I took a little nappy nap. But I'd already put the show together, so. We got a lot of shit to talk about. Apparently, a horse got loose on a plane and started singing. The horse's name is apparently Bobby Storm. He was a gospel singer. Wait, I think I'm conflating two stories. God, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that makes no sense whatsoever. But you'll see when we get to the end of the show. A cosmic energy burst and ionosphere disruption apparently fucked with some radios. The war on Christmas has begun, and Target apparently on the front lines now. Starbucks workers in Philly walked off the job. There's an ongoing abortion rights lawsuit in Texas. It is now expanded as more women join. Also, fist in the air. Colorado home exploded earlier today. The all clear has been given. They apparently had to evacuate a block or something. Are you guys binge drinkers over there? Which country drinks more? Is it the US or the UK? What are we canceling Justin for now? I didn't do anything. I don't think. Speaking of canceling Justin, I got banned from Tribal. It's not the Black Lives Matter fist, motherfucker. It's the radical leftist fist. What the... Silly. Here's your meme of the day. We are coming up on Survivor Series in the WWE. Really excited for this year's teams. The red team taking on the blue team. Gonna be honest with you, I was more into the red team when I was a teenager. I'm gonna have to go with the blue team. Now. I think the Backstreet Boys probably have the better songs. The fuck? What? Who the fuck are the... That's NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. What is wrong with you? Cancel Warlord. Boomer. Team Justin? What? That's probably not a popular opinion clinically, following the release of Britney Spears' book. I don't know. I've never really been a Justin Timberlake fan. I would say I like Backstreet Boys songs better. There is still an NSYNC song or two that pops up on my playlist. Apparently the Grammys are going on right now. I didn't even realize this. I was looking at YouTube. It said that like the red carpet for the Grammys was happening. Didn't even know. The scuttlebutt is that you will be getting a return of, is it 15-time world heavyweight champion? The Viper, Randy Orton, making his comeback. I think Survivor Series is next weekend. It might be this weekend. I don't even fucking know. I'm sure she's spilling tea for a nice payday. I like Saturday Night Live had a skit where like different people were reading from Britney's book. And then they had Jada in there and she was reading from her book. Survivor, what, the reality show? Fuck that shit. I never liked that show. I did not get that. Then again, I'm a boomer, so who knows? Cancel Justin. Van Jones was booed at a march in support of Israel or something. I don't even understand what the march was about. In support of genocide? Wall Street banker was fired for yelling at a Jewish man. An arrest warrant has been issued. This is a name we haven't said it in a few months at least. An arrest warrant has been issued for Ammon Bundy, far-right lunatic out in Idaho, had a standoff at his compound with the feds. The GOP congressman announced his retirement and then unretired in the same day. Marjorie Taylor Greene got a civics lesson on the floor of the House. This said fiery confrontation. The House is really the place for fireworks, apparently. Just call the House of Representatives the 4th of July because they're going off. Clay Higgins threatened the FBI director. I wonder if he challenged him to a cage fight. Representative Chip Roy had a meltdown. It's like 54 minutes long. I was going to play the whole clip. It's like 54 minutes long, so we'll get like the 1 minute highlights. Plus some breaking news in the Trump trial, the Trump it's not a trial yet. The ongoing criminal proceedings in Georgia involving Donald Trump. We now know who leaked the depositions that we saw last night. I don't even remember when I played them. You get the Georgia case is going to be televised. Apparently, Trump wanted the federal trial to be televised. They don't allow cameras in federal courtrooms, and Jack Smith has protested the notion that there will be cameras in the courtroom. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Welcome. Good evening. I'm glad to kick off the war on Christmas tonight. The most wonderful time of the year. I'm working for this TikToker now. He does like quiz show shit, right? He's got a pretty decent following. and I was editing some videos for him. This motherfucker going around giving out money, asking people like questions from the U.S. citizenship test. Not a one of those kids knew the fucking answers to anything. Didn't get past the first question. Not one of them got the first question. He only asked one question. None of them got it right. I wish somebody would come around and ask me the questions from the citizenship test for money. What was the supreme law of the land? It's the Constitution. Justin, good evening. Clinically, good evening. Warlord, my friend, I love you so much. It's Trump. I'm actually surprised. He was at like a country music festival, so I'm kind of surprised one of them didn't say Trump. Oh. El Camino Christmas. That sounds cool. Started watching Christmas shows already, Dustin. I can't do it. I can't do it yet. I gotta keep Christmas in December. I have the greatest collection of Christmas TV show specials. Good evening, Richard. I have the greatest collection of Thanksgiving TV show specials. I have the greatest collection of Halloween TV show specials. Because I'm an internet pirate. Arg. I haven't even broke out the Halloween, or the Halloween. Yeah, I've already watched some Halloween specials, I assure you. Fair enough, dude. I can't do the Christmas music. Apparently my best friend's already all up in Christmas business. He starts Halloween in like the end of August. I can't do that. I gotta keep Halloween in October. I gotta keep Christmas in December. I don't like that shit. I haven't even thought about what I'm gonna do for Thanksgiving next week yet. He was asking me about how I do my Christmas music, and I canceled my Spotify. I have a Spotify playlist of Christmas music that is amazing. It plays for like fucking 6 days straight without ever playing the same song twice. Well, different versions. You might get, 3 or 4 different versions of Silver Bells by, one might be a death metal band. Then you might get the original. You know what I'm saying? What's everybody's favorite Christmas song? Mine is probably, and like I'm a secular person, but like my favorite Christmas song is probably Mary Did You Know. Also a big fan of Oh Holy Night. I think that's a banger. I hate the song Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. Hate that song. Fuck cancer indeed. Oh, I'm sorry, Dustin. That's sad. I don't know why that made me think of there was like was it a Reddit post that went around? It was like, if you could sleep with one person in the world, who would it be? And some dude was like, my late wife that died. And she was blah, blah, blah. And he like goes into this really impassioned speech about like how wonderful it would be to sleep with his wife that passed away one last time. And then like the person under it would be like, that dude's wife. Don't know why that popped in my head. Also, I'm a big fan of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And they do the, you mentioned Little Drummer Boy. Which is your favorite version of Little Drummer Boy? Isn't there like a David Bowie version? But the Nutcracker Suite by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Fucking love that. Fucking love that. I deserve a titty slap for that comment.
A titty slap! Give me those titties,
Come on now.
I don't even know that one, Dustin. Franken Bing. Okay, fair enough. I don't think that's the original version, but that's like the classic version, right? The song is like German. It's from a play or some shit, I think. I don't know shit. I'm dumb. Need to learn to feel embarrassment. All right, you ready to find out what that news be doing? We've talked enough. We've bullshitted enough. Let's get into the real bullshit that you guys came for. Oh, fucking shit. The FBI has raided the home of Jonathan Bumma, a bureau whistleblower who claimed his Trump world investigations were suppressed. FBI agents raided the Orange County home of Special Agent Jonathan Bumma on Monday. Bumma told Congress that the bureau forced him to stop investigating Rudy Giuliani. Documents show Bumma is suspected of mishandling classified information. A squad of federal agents in tactical gear executed a search warrant on Monday. That's weird. That is weird. Come after an FBI agent with fucking tactical gear. Damn. Search warrant reviewed by Business Insider states that Bumma is suspected of violating laws against mishandling classified information. And a property receipt lists classified material and possible classified material as being among the items seized. Horton said that both the allegations and the property records receipts are false. Horton, that being the lawyer for Bumma. There was no classified information found by the raid, he said. I know that from talking to my client. The FBI has declined to comment. In July, Bumma filed protected whistleblower disclosures alleging bureau mismanagement and retaliation. His 22-page disclosure to the Senate Judiciary Committee alleges that Bumma was ordered not to investigate Donald Trump's associates and that he was forced to shut down his most valuable confidential sources. It also describes evidence collected by Bumma indicating that Rudy Giuliani, Trump's personal attorney, was compromised by Russian intelligence. After his Senate disclosure was leaked, Bumma, a 15-year FBI veteran who specializes in counterintelligence investigations, spoke about his allegations in an interview with The New Yorker and a video interview with Business Insider. Did we watch this?
I didn't want to be a whistleblower. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was at my wit's end. I saw important intelligence reporting being suppressed. I started to experience what I believe to be discrimination, character assassination, really. My name is Jonathan Bumma, and I'm a FBI special agent. When I went and presented to the assistant director in charge over at Los Angeles field office, he was very interested in the allegations concerning potentially implicating the Bidens and involved in business deals with Burisma, a company that was involved in alleged criminal activity. He's very interested, and he was adamant about packaging that information up and transferring that to the appropriate case agent right away. But during the same meeting, when I attempted to provide information that Rudy Giuliani may have been compromised by individuals suspected of being involved in Russian counterintelligence influence operations, he shut me down and the meeting ended. I came to know that Giuliani had received $300,000 from Pavlo Fuchs, a very powerful businessman who had deep ties with a transnational organized crime syndicate. He was based in Ukraine, and that was deeply concerning to me, especially having heard that Giuliani had been working for the president pro bono. My questions that were going through my head were, who does he really work for? I wasn't trying to,
Was he working pro bono, or did he just, not get paid?
implicate Trump or do anything that would, injure his reputation, this reporting implicates Giuliani. He was the one that was in ongoing contact with foreign nationals and, political activists that would receive hundreds of thousands of dollars from these sources. And at that time, Joe Biden was not yet the Democratic nominee. I said to my co-handling agent, I said to him, why do they keep going back to the Bidens? So what if this is the leading edge of a disinformation campaign to create a theme of derogatory information about the Bidens in anticipation that Biden would be Trump's main political rival? And I started.
I mean, we know that's what Trump was trying to do from the Ukraine impeachment. He was trying to get Zelensky to say that Ukraine was investigating Hunter Biden, holding up aid to Ukraine so they could help fight off Russia. All this shit's interconnected.
To experience pushback, all of my reporting came under really tight scrutiny, to the point where I went from, getting exceptional performance awards to, being
now getting rated
inconsistent performer, and then I had all these administrative. I don't have a history of that. 13 years before that, so it got to the point where it's pretty intolerable. So I filed a whistleblower complaint. All FBI agents get annual training concerning the protected federal whistleblower statute, which says that if you see misconduct in management, then you can file a whistleblower complaint with the inspection division. The managers involved in your chain of command are prohibited from committing any acts that could be considered reprisal or retaliation. From that point forward, the retaliation actually increased, and I experienced no such protection, and there's never any mention or acknowledgement outside of an automated email response saying we received your information, and a letter that said we received your information, and nothing, no interviews, no anything. And an email was sent with a brand new supervisors that specifically prohibited me from doing any more reporting on criminal matters, public corruption matters, or reporting on anyone related to the White House or any current or former associates of Trump. And now I started to experience personal attacks, not only suppression of the reporting. My reporting was corroborated already at that point, so if you can't undercut the reporting, you undercut the person. So that's what I was experiencing at that point. And I was moved to a squad where I couldn't work sources. I was sent to basically the Alaska of LA, and it put into a position where it would be physically impossible for me to do any more source reporting. I was never trying to drive the political process in one way or the other. I was only trying to make sure that everybody had all of the information, both sides.
I mean, he sounds pretty impartial. The fact that he was reporting on information from both Biden and Rudy Giuliani. However, ACAB means FBI agents too. So fuck the FBI. And believe me, we're going to talk about the FBI here in just a little bit, because Chris Wray was on the receiving end of Chris Wray, a Republican, appointed by a Republican. Chris Wray on the receiving end of some bombs being dropped on Capitol Hill. I don't know what to think about this story. Now, we had reported on the whistleblower complaint, and I absolutely believe, we know this from, so the right-wing media love to talk about, Peter Strzok and, was it Lisa Page? Was that her name? The texts that were released by those two FBI agents where they're like, we'll get Trump. But if you go and read all of the text messages that got leaked during that investigation, or not leaked, that were part of that investigation, there was very pro-Trump people in the FBI. I would actually say that the pro-Trump contingent in the FBI outweighs the people who seemed reasonable and thought Trump was a criminal. Just throwing that out there. Speaking of Trump's co-defendant Misty Hampton The attorney for Misty Hampton, one of the co-defendants indicted in the Georgia Fulton County case, has confessed to leaking the videos that we watched last night on the show featuring Jenna Ellis and Misty My Balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Misty Hampton's attorney probably thought they were kicking authority in the balls. At a hearing this afternoon before Judge Scott McAfee, an attorney for one of the co-defendants confessed to being the leaker of the proffered tapes to the press. The hearing was being held because a motion for a protective order brought by the DA's office after the tapes were leaked. Prosecutors sought a protective order so that no additional sensitive materials would be leaked by the parties. I do believe the judge granted... Oh, this says the judge would be issuing a protective order by tomorrow. So yes, the protective order was granted. This is the attorney admitting to leaking the tapes. Tones. I have no idea why the
country has had, and that transparency.
Well, goddamn Midas Touch. What the hell's wrong with your video?
Since I've been working with her for the last 2.
Jesus fucking Christ, this is impossible.
On behalf of Miss Hampton.
Judge, if I may, Ms. Hampton does not believe that an order is necessary. That this is one of the biggest cases the country has had, and that transparency is very important. Since I've been working with her for the last 2 years, she has always said that she wanted to be 100% transparent. And that is why we are opposed to having any kind of regulations on what we can expose and what we can't. But with that in mind, we will adhere to any court order that the court does, and will do so with diligence. But Judge, in being transparent with the court and to make sure that nobody else gets blamed for what happened, and so that I can go to sleep well tonight, Judge, I did release those videos to one outlet, and on all candor to the court, I need the court to know that.
I do believe that's a crime. You can't just leak evidence. That is not a thing that is looked upon by the court with reverence, I do believe. You guys know about Representative Chip Roy. Apparently gave an explosive House floor speech. Wanted to play the whole thing, but it's apparently 54 minutes, and I can't listen to this motherfucker go off for 54 minutes. So let's watch a clip of it posted by Forbes here.
We have an administration that is at war with the people of the United States, nothing less. The current administration is undermining the prosperity of the American people, and they're doing it on a daily basis. The current administration, the Biden administration, is undermining our ability to defend ourselves under the Second Amendment, undermining our ability to carry out our free speech rights and our First Amendment rights, undermining our ability to live free from crime and free from the danger of dangerous cartels and dangerous gangs flooding across the southern border of the United States. Every single day, another Texan dies from fentanyl poisoning. Every single day, another Texan dies, like last week, 2 Texans, 2 Hispanic Texans who died tragically in a car accident when you had an illegal immigrant moving people across our border into Texas. And you had somebody who was human smuggling, who was speeding and killed these 2 American citizens. When is this going to stop?
This is the full speech, 54:39. Exactly, clinically. Well, I mean, you're a lawmaker. Perhaps some comprehensive immigration reform would go a long way. Perhaps safe injection sites would go a long way. Insurance. everybody having access to health care would go a long way, but no. DJ Dub, good evening. They don't want to do anything to fix the problems. They don't care about the problems. They just want to grandstand. Right-wingers are fucking morons. Talked about the FBI just a little bit ago. Director Chris Wray threatened by Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana earlier today during a committee hearing.
Director Wray. Last year, you might recall, sir, our exchange regarding the FBI's involvement on January 6th and prior. I'm happy to jog your memory to quote, according to the record, I asked you, did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol on January 6th prior to the doors being opened?
I don't doubt that there were federal agents in the crowd. But I don't think they were put there by the FBI. I think they were there because they supported Trump.
You responded, I quote, again, I have to be very careful of what I say. To which I said, it should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol on January 6th. A year has passed. We sit here again a year later, we the people, still do not have a definitive answer from you or anyone else in the Biden administration regarding the FBI presence and participation in the months leading up to the November election and in the weeks and days prior to January 6th. And
I like how he refers to the director of the FBI as part of the Biden administration. I guess technically they are, but they're an independent agency, and he was appointed by Trump.
On January 6th here in D.C. We can't get a straight answer, although we have a tremendous amount of evidence harvested and reviewed over the course of the last year.
Do we?
Which you will see. In September, Stephen D'Artano, formerly in charge of the FBI's field office in Washington, D.C., testified to the House Judiciary Committee that he was aware the FBI informants would attend the Stop the Steal rally thrown on January 6th. You confirmed that the FBI had confidential human sources at the Stop the Steal rally on January 6th here in D.C., sir?
Congressman, as we've discussed before, I'm not going to get into where we have or have not used confidential human sources. But what I can tell you,
on.
You asked for a definitive
We'll move
answer.
on. It's my time. You said no, you're not going to answer. That's cool. We're watching.
Mr. Chairman, may I answer the question?
Your moment will come. This is my time. Earlier this year, an FBI informant who is reported to have, quote, his quote, under oath, marched to the U.S. Capitol with fellow Proud Boys members on January 6th.
Informant means a lot of things. A fellow Proud Boy marched to the Capitol, and you're calling him an informant. Was it Enrico Hutario? That just means he is working with the FBI and giving them information. Doesn't mean that like the FBI, it doesn't mean that they were like an FBI agent planted there to try to, what do they call it? It's like some kind of a false flag.
Close quote. He said he was communicating with his FBI handler while people were entering the U.S. Capitol. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying
not.
no?
No.
You're saying no?
Not
Okay.
violence orchestrated
Let's
by
move
FBI
on.
sources or agents.
Are you familiar with you know what a ghost vehicle is? Director of the FBI certainly should. You know what a ghost bus is?
A ghost bus?
Ghost bus.
I'm not sure.
Who
I've
you
used
gonna
that.
call?
Okay. Well, it's pretty common in law enforcement. It's a vehicle that's used for secret purposes.
Flash.
Painted over. These two buses.
Agent Provocateur, that was the word.
They were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence. I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman.
These two buses
Mr.
are
Chairman.
painted completely
Never trust
white.
anybody that says just
Point of
the
order.
tip.
Point of order. Sure.
Just run over the time.
Especially when they look like a dick. Literally, Clay Higgins looks like a giant penis.
Or agents.
Are you familiar with you know what a ghost vehicle is? Director of the FBI certainly should. You know what a ghost bus is?
A ghost bus?
Ghost bus.
I'm not sure I've used that term before.
Okay. Well, it's pretty common in law enforcement. It's a vehicle that's used for secret purposes. It's painted over. These two buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence. I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman.
These two buses
Mr.
are
Chairman.
painted completely white.
Point of order.
Point of order. Sure.
Just run over the time.
I understand, but you'll recall that Miss Jackson Lee's been allowed to go 2 minutes before. I've been very fair in letting people finish their questioning throughout my tenure as chairman, and I'll continue to be fair on that regard. But I will make a note to the members, if you could stay as close within your time as possible. We have a lot of people that want to ask these gentlemen questions. So with that, the gentleman yields. But your point, I've been very fair in this, Mr. Ivey, with everybody on this side of the aisle just as much.
I don't think I accuse you of being unfair, Mr. Chairman.
You're making a point. Okay, thank you. I now recognize Mr.
May I
Gray.
close this statement, Mr.
No,
Chairman?
I think your time is expired, Mr.
I note that other members across the aisle have been granted time, and I object to my.
Is that a Texas accent? Is that like a mix of like a Creole and really Southern Texas accent? Like, it's not any accent I've ever heard before. He sounds like he had a fucking stroke, and he can't even talk.
To my question being closed. This is a very significant hearing, Mr. Chairman, and these buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6th. Your day is coming,
made your
Mr. Ray.
point, Mr. Higgins. I now recognize.
Fake Creole. Higgins, not the only representative taking aim at Chris Wray. I believe this happened yesterday. I may be wrong. It might have been today. Does not have a. Okay, it was today. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Georgia, Miss Green, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Yeah. DJ Dub, those fucking Charlie Kirk buses. Where's he at? He wasn't bringing sexual anarchy to the Capitol.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Just anarchy. And not the good kind either.
Secretary Mayorkas, I want you to look at these innocent Americans. Do you see them?
I do, Congresswoman.
They are dead. They're from Dalton, Georgia, in my district. They're dead because a 17-year-old, likely affiliated with the cartels, was smuggling illegal aliens into our country in Texas, breaking our laws, and this happens every single day in our country. Earlier this week, 8 Republicans joined the Democrats and protected your job. But I want you to know, you have a short time coming. You can honorably resign, or we are going to impeach you, and it's happening very, very soon. Mr. Wray, you remember on October 18th,
Give her time.
complex was illegally occupied, breaking same laws. have hunted down Americans for from January 6th. Are you familiar with this?
I don't recognize the picture that you're holding.
Well, because maybe your agents haven't been doing a good job into investigating the organizers that broke the law, illegally occupied this
the Jewish people that were calling for a ceasefire.
Very building that we're sitting in right now, and over 300 of them were arrested. Some of them attacked police officers. I haven't seen on the news where the FBI is hunting them down with helicopters, tanks in the streets, raiding their homes with flashbangs, targeting these people, watching these people, throwing them in jail for them to stay in pre-trial in solitary confinement for years before they ever face trial. You want to know what this says? I'll tell you. This is one of the organizers' phones, and this is a chat, and it says at the top, Global Intifada. Now, while we're talking about terrorism today, are you familiar with the term Intifada?
I've certainly heard the term.
Do you know the definition?
I'm not going to try to define it, but
It means Arab uprising or jihad. Are you concerned?
I don't think that's true.
I am, and I have consistently testified to that effect.
Yes, but are you interested in using the FBI? You are the director of
The phrase literally means shaking off. Means shaking off.
the FBI. Do you hunt down terrorists in our country? Those that would be responsible for jihad?
Absolutely, and that's why we've had jihadist-inspired terrorism at our highest national threat priority level since the day that I started as FBI director.
Do you still use the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source? You use them. The
Fantastic group.
Poverty Law Center as a source when targeting Catholics. Are you still using the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source?
Congresswoman, what I think what you're referring to is the so-called Richmond intelligence product, which as soon as I learned about it, I was horrified, withdrew it. We had an inspection done, and part of the problem that we found with that particular product, by that particular office, is precisely what you're talking about, the reliance on the Southern Poverty Law Center and the way
Why?
relied on.
Well, you relied on the Southern Poverty Law Center, but I would have you know, Mr. Ray, that this one right here, this person involved in the Global Intifada group that illegally, they broke the law, came in and occupied the Cannon Office House building, interrupted Congress, interrupted hearings. Right here, Katrina Bleakley is the lead attorney for the Southern Poverty Law.
I do want to point out they did not interrupt hearings. We were here live when that happened because Congress wasn't in session because they didn't have a Speaker of the House at the time. Jesus Christ.
Law Center. Were you aware of this?
Congresswoman, as I said, I haven't seen the photos that you're holding up before.
Maybe, well, I posted them on my Twitter account. It's public. You know, maybe
I
you
don't
guys...
spend a
I posted it on my Twitter account.
Oh, I'm sure you do, because the Department of Homeland Security, organized with other offices, has censored many Americans, including myself.
I'm not part of the Department of Homeland Security.
Right, Mr. Ray, you should be interested in investigating terrorism, and this right here is proof that we have.
I thought that was John Oliver there for a second. That's actually Chris Hayes. I do want to point out that I watched John Oliver after I got off the stream last night. The Bird of the Century contest. John Oliver took out ads all over the world to get this Puteki Teki bird voted on to be the Bird of the Century in New Zealand. Right after I finished watching the show, he's like, the vote is going to be announced on Wednesday. And I looked at my phone, I'm like, it's Wednesday in New Zealand right now. I Googled it, and the Puteki Teki is the New Zealand Bird of the Century. Fantastic work, Mr. Oliver. But what kind of fucking budget are they giving that show? Motherfucker took out ads in every major city in the fucking world and then built a giant animatronic Puteki Teki in his studio. What the fuck kind of budget are you operating on, dude? I want HBO money. Sorry. Got a little off topic there.
And organized with other offices has censored many Americans, including myself.
I'm not part of the Department of Homeland Security.
Right, Mr. Ray, you should be interested in investigating terrorism, and this right here is proof that we had terrorists in our own office building. Global Intifada.
The co-director of the SPLC is a terrorist? Seriously? This woman is smoking crack. I swear to God.
I was on crack.
And you were at poverty law centers. Katrina Bleakley is one of the organizers. I'll send this over to your office, so maybe perhaps you can stop targeting innocent grandmothers and veterans who walked through the Capitol on January 6th and might actually go after people tied to Hamas, tied to Hezbollah, and likely Iran. Mr. Ray, are you interested in members of Congress that are organized and participating in a Facebook group that has ties to Hamas?
We're not investigating people for participating in a Facebook group.
A Facebook group that is tied to Hamas?
We have multiple investigations into individuals affiliated with Hamas and their active investigations.
You're going to tell me as FBI director you will not investigate Americans or United States members of Congress that are linked to known terrorists?
That's not what I said.
Are you going to investigate or not?
We are going to investigate individuals.
If you're investigating members of Congress who are linked to known terrorists, can we start with Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Those who are affiliated with Hamas, if they meet our standards for predication, which are long-standing standards set by this department and the prior department and the department before that.
I would hope to God that Intifada and jihad and terrorists in our very country would be something that you would prioritize instead of a 3-hour event that happened at the Capitol nearly 4 years ago, Mr. Ray. I yield back.
Oh, just a simple 3-hour event that happened at the Capitol. Not where your fucking side tried to overturn democracy and stop the duly elected president. Jesus. Unfortunately, it is not our only clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene tonight. I think this one was the one that happened yesterday. She got a lesson in civics on the floor of the House in what they are calling a fiery confrontation, because what else is there when it's Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Democrat colleague across the aisle who's 80 years old and has been here over 30 years just said we're on the verge of a shutdown. She probably just forgot that a few hours ago she voted for the continuing resolution that will extend the budget, and we are not on the verge of a shutdown.
It may be that the gentlelady doesn't know.
Ma'am, we're still it's only like a couple of months. It's not like we're not still on the verge of a shutdown.
Not on the verge of a shutdown.
It may be that the gentlelady doesn't know that there is another body attached to the U.S. Congress called the United States Senate, and they have to vote.
They are expected to pass it.
Continuing resolution. And when they vote on it, we'll find out what it is that they do with regard to this continuing resolution passed by the House, which, quite frankly, is flawed to a fare thee well. Flawed to a fare thee well in meeting our obligations, both domestic and international. And by the way, it isn't a law of the land or done until the President of the United States signs it. That may be a basic level, a lesson in civics.
As if Marjorie Taylor Greene knows anything about civics. And Ray had to correct her that he's not part of the Department of Homeland Security. This Congress, man. What a wild time we live in. Let's talk about this chuckle fucker right here. This is Representative Pat Fallon of Texas. The career plans of the representative appear to be in a state of flux this week as he made moves to leave Congress at the end of his current term, but then went back on it on Monday. Fallon, a lawmaker elected in 2020 to a North Texas seat, vacated when former President Donald Trump tapped Representative John Ratcliffe for Director of National Intelligence, filed to run for Texas State Senate District 30, the seat he had held before being elected to Congress. At the end of the day, the decision came down to, if we lose Texas, we lose the nation. What Fallon told the Texas Tribune. It's just terribly important to ensure that Texas has written a great success story, and I want to keep moving that forward. But just 24 hours later, Fallon appears to have changed his mind. According to CBS 11's Jack Fink, Fallon has confirmed he will seek re-election to the 4th Congressional District after all, likely blindsiding Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who had already endorsed his campaign to retake the 30th Senate District and praised him as a solid member of the legislature. In his relatively brief time in Congress, Fallon has been involved in a handful of controversies. In 2021, he was embarrassed when he attacked the hate-tracking organization, the Southern Poverty Law Center, based on a satirical report joking they had labeled veterans organizations as hate groups. So he saw something from, the Babylon Bee or some shit. And earlier this year, he accused protesters of heckling his comments on the Second Amendment of staging an insurrection. Tones, what's in the water down there in Texas? What's wrong with these people? I will point out once again that Texas is going blue. How fast it goes blue is still yet to be seen. But Trump's margin of winning Texas shrunk, like by half, 2016 to 2020, an indication that within the next 10 years, L and whores. Fair enough. An indication that Texas may very well be a blue state by the end of the decade, possibly. Them young people, the kids are all right. What the fuck is wrong with Idaho? Idaho judge issues a new arrest warrant for far-right activist Amon Bundy. The anti-government activist fell afoul of the court after not attending hearings in relation to a $52.5 million defamation ruling against him. Judge in Idaho has issued a $250,000 arrest warrant for Amon Bundy, the anti-government activist, after he failed to show up in court. The 48-year-old son of the controversial Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy, an organizer of a takeover of an Oregon wildlife reserve that left one of his supporters dead, fell foul of the court after not attending hearings in relation to a $52.5 million defamation ruling against him and his political organization. It's the Florida of the Cascadia. You can have your own private Idaho. The 48-year-old son... Oh, I already read that part. He was supposed to appear in court on Monday, but once again did not appear. Instead, he sent an email in which he said his life had been consumed by political prosecutions. Maybe try not being a terrorist. In response, District Judge Nancy Baskin revoked Bundy's $10,000 bond and ordered his arrest. The court is doing everything in its power to protect Mr. Bundy's rights, to give him an opportunity to confront and cross-examine witnesses. To have his motion to dismiss heard, I simply cannot do that unless he is actually at court, Judge Baskin said. She also announced that she was issuing a fresh arrest warrant with a bond of $250,000. Once again, Mr. Bundy thinks he can simply say he does not need to be in court. Again, that is not how the rule of law works in this country. Bundy, who last year ran and lost in a bid to become the governor of Idaho, has often blasted the authorities on social media. On Monday night, he wrote on Twitter Today, Judge Baskin issued a $250,000 warrant for my arrest. The only thing I care to say is that I don't regret any of it. Dude thinks he's kicking authority in the balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
Flash, that's not a bad idea. Turn Texas blue overnight, except there is the issue of Hispanic voters tend to lean more conservative. Like issues about like abortion, they're in line with the Republicans on that. That's not so much the Latinos from south of the border. It's a certain segment, the highly Catholic. The Cubans tend to lean more conservative. It's one of the reasons why Florida is so red now. If you're gonna be that dumb, don't put it in writing. Dustin, I assume he's ready to. Like one of his followers already died. That wild video where they tried to run over the feds as they were leaving that wildlife sanctuary. I'm going to try to be brief on this topic. It's not, I don't like, everybody's talking about this. I try to not talk about it, but it's like I do a news rundown, so it's hard not to talk about it. Try to bring you guys the shit that you probably haven't heard about, but let's check up with what's going on with the Israeli bombardment, seizing of Gaza. Families of the hostages marched from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem to demand that the Israeli government do more to free the hostages, which it really seems that the Netanyahu government is using as pawns in their play to level Gaza.
We are here at the head of the march of the families of the hostages from where they were set up for the past 2 weeks or so in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Leading the march here, many here have spoken about their frustration, the lack of answers they're receiving, the demand that the government do everything it can to release the hostages, some 240 still held in Gaza, from the very young to grandparents, grandmothers, and grandfathers. The message that they are trying to send to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the war cabinet is do whatever it takes, make whatever deal is necessary to bring them home as soon as possible, regardless of the deal. Their priority, not destroying Hamas, not destroying the tunnels, but bringing the families home. For the past 2 weeks or so, they've been outside the defense ministry when the war cabinet has met, trying to make sure that the government hears them in that way. They feel that that hasn't been enough. So now they've taken to the streets of Tel Aviv, where they will march from here to Jerusalem over the course of
to the home of Netanyahu.
Very reminiscent of a march from more than a decade ago when the family of Gilad Shalit, an Israeli soldier who was held prisoner in Gaza for 5 years, decided they too had had enough and marched from their home in North.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you want to target the Hamas command center, pretty sure it's in Qatar. Pretty sure it's not actually in Gaza. Pretty sure if you want to target the leaders of Hamas, they are the millionaires and billionaires sitting in Qatar. Not the actual fighters that are in the tunnels under the Gaza Strip.
Northern Israel to Tel Aviv. By the time they to Jerusalem. By the time they arrived in Jerusalem, they had thousands with them and put a tremendous amount of pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to make a deal to free their son. This, the same idea, but now the family of 239 or so hostages trying to put that same sort of pressure to bring their family home. They're trying to demand answers, and this is the way they're doing it now. Oren Lieberman, CNN, on the streets of Tel Aviv.
And here's the thing, is it's something like 80% of the population of Israel wants Netanyahu to resign. But I mean, I've been saying it from the beginning. I totally think this is part of Netanyahu's plan to actually stay in power. And the idea, the whole human shield, the whole, they are, operating under Gaza. What the fuck ever. I do not care. Of course, they have a tunnel system under Gaza. So, of course they do. That's no reason to bomb hospitals and kill babies. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people like fucking Van Jones? This asshole, fuck this dude, got booed on stage at the rally for Israel that was held yesterday.
I'm a peace guy. I'm a peace guy. I pray for peace. No more rockets from Gaza and no more bombs falling down on the people of Gaza. God protect children. God protect children. Let's end all the horror and all the heartbreak in the Holy Land. Let's end all of it. Let's end all of it.
Actually, not as profound of a booing as I thought. Got a mixed reaction from the crowd. He appeared at a March for Israel rally. His speech receiving mixed responses. Yeah. Boo that man for talking about bombing innocent people. A 5-minute talk delivered outside the National Mall on Tuesday, the 55-year-old civil rights advocate expressed his support for the Jewish community both in America and Israel in light of the Israel-Hamas conflict and the recent rise in anti-Semitism. Hamas, we know that. Well, Jones's comments against anti-Semitism were applauded by the crowd. His wish for a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza did not go down well. That was a very pro-war rally from what I can tell. The audience actually chanted no ceasefire midway through his speech. See if we can get another little taste of it. Not usually a fan of Van Jones. He's a pretty shitty shit lib, but I mean, he was right about that. Here we go. Here is a clip of some of the chants.
Pray for peace. No more rockets from Gaza and no more bombs falling down on the people of Gaza. God protect the children. God protect children. Let's end all the horror and all the heartbreak in the Holy Land. Let's end all of it. Let's end all of it. But I'll be honest in closing. When I think about what's happening over there, feel powerful to do something about what's happening over there. What I do feel powerful is to maybe do something about what's happening here. Let's take a stand here against anti-Jewish bigotry. Let's take a stand against Muslims. Let's take a stand here against hatred. Let's take a stand here against hatred of all kinds. I don't want...
Yeah, that is wild. Chant no ceasefire after the dude's like, stop killing babies. There was a climate rally that happened in Amsterdam that featured Greta Thunberg. Some dude got up on stage and grabbed the mic out of her hand.
Listening. The people in power have not been listening.
The people in power have not been listening. Somebody tries to come and take the microphone from her. Can we just see the clip? Apparently, he accused her of turning it into a political rally, which is what it was. Why can't we just see the fucking clip?
We have not been listening. The people in power have not been listening.
I have come here for a climate demonstration, not a political view. This is a climate demonstration.
Calm down.
What do you think a climate demonstration is, dipshit?
Justice on occupied land.
Shelley, good evening.
On occupied land.
And as if it isn't intertwined anyway, Gaza is sitting on hella oil and natural gas reserves. Everything is intertwined. Going to read to you from an opinion piece. Was published in the USA Today. It's probably going to make you mad. Cartoon falls to cancel culture. In perilous times, free speech attacks are no laughing matter. Silencing Michael Ramirez's voice, the Washington Post is giving power to those who disagree with his point of view. That Hamas terrorists intentionally put Palestinian civilians at risk. Taken only about a month for many Americans seemingly to forget who instigated the war between Israel and Hamas. That statement right there! Fundamentally wrong. Hamas didn't start this on October 7th. I hate to inform you. You need about a century's lesson of history, motherfucker. October 7th, Hamas terrorists descended on Israel, slaughtering hundreds of innocent civilians. It didn't begin there. Israelis have the right to defend themselves against terrorists who have said that they won't stop until Israel is wiped off the face of the earth. There also have been many Palestinian civilian casualties, an estimated 11,000. Almost half of which are children. A reason so many civilians are caught in the crossfire, however, is that Hamas uses Palestinian lives as human shields. That fact has been well documented, and it's a disgusting tactic of Hamas terrorists to hide behind women and children. That's just bullshit rhetoric. Michael Ramirez, a political cartoonist who has won 2 Pulitzer Prizes, recently drew a cartoon illustrating that fact. There is the cartoon in question. A caricature of, I guess, a leader of Hamas. As if I'm turning my ad blocker off. How dare Israel attack civilians as he's wrapped children around him. Yep, seems pretty racist to me. After David Shipley, editor of the page of the Post, signed off on running the cartoon, backlash from readers and staff led him to apologize for doing so and to pull the cartoon from the paper's website. Which, by the way, isn't a attack on free speech. The Washington Post news story on the incident said the drawing was criticized as racist and dehumanizing towards Palestinians, which is true. Said the Hamas spokesman was caricatured as having a large nose and a snarling mouth. Let me tell you, if that was a Jewish person, people would not think it was too funny now, would they? Exaggerated features have long been a common part of the art form among editorial cartoonists. and Ramirez is no exception. He's given similar treatment to dozens of prominent people, from former President Donald Trump to Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. No journalist, even one on the opinion side who draws cartoons, should intentionally set out to mock or harm anyone's identity. Yet he did! Did the cartoon make me cringe? Yes. But that was because of the ugly truth it highlighted. That's the whole point. No, it's not truth. Playing into your biases is not truth. Confirming your biases is not truth. Okay, so the whole ad thing. Freedom, good evening. Like, I'm completely, definitely while I'm here on the show, I don't want ads popping up and interrupting the experience. But it's not like I don't use it in my own life. And apparently, like, YouTube's attack on ad blockers, ironically, my YouTube promo pops up at the bottom there. Apparently made ad blockers better. So good on you, Google. Thank you for that. I mean, I'm conflicted because I would like to make money from the shit I do on the internet, but also, like, YouTube ain't monetizing my shit anyway, so fuck off. A Wall Street banker, which automatically makes me hate the motherfucker, even if I might agree with the sentiment of what he was doing, has been fired after yelling, "Go back to your No, don't do that. I don't agree with that. Apparently ripping down hostage posters. I don't think anybody should be ripping down the hostage posters. I think that's good propaganda for the Zionists. Probably don't do that. But do realize that the posters are propaganda as it is anyway. Missing posters for hostages that Hamas took aren't going to do shit in the U.S. It's simply there to stir up emotions. It's not like, have you seen this person? No, we fucking haven't. They're in Gaza, you idiots. So fuck this dude. Mainly for being a Wall Street banker, though.
Go and live in Israel. Go.
Go back to your country.
Go back to your country. That's right. I'm an American.
I am also American, darling.
The video posted to Twitter, Kurish Ministry and his partner Shalaya Gupta can be heard telling a Jewish man to go back to your country. Do you believe you guys are immigrants too? I think you have I don't think you have any place to tell somebody to go back to their country. Also, I believe in freedom. I don't believe in restricting the free movement of a people. To me, everybody is welcome here. Just like if I wanted to move to France or Japan, I'd be upset if somebody told me I couldn't or to tell me to go back to my country. He's since been terminated from his job at Freepoint Commodities. The disturbing incident comes as anti-Israel protesters continue to tear down hostage posters around New York City.
These are ripping posters down. These are innocent civilians in Israel. You Israel, bitch.
Yeah, I probably picked the wrong one, saying if I wanted to move to Japan. Yeah, the U.S. doesn't make it easy, and Japan's not very welcoming to foreigners.
These are ripping posters down. These are innocent civilians in Israel. You Israel, bitch. These are our family members. We have family there. You bitch.
Right? Yes, exactly.
I just don't understand what, other than propaganda, what is the point of the poster? Like, a missing poster in the area where the people are missing totally makes sense. A missing poster here in the U.S. is simply propaganda. But also, like, hey, these young ladies, I appreciate what they're doing. Also, she's very cute. But, like, I like to slap them titties.
A titty slap! What the? Give me those titties.
Come on now.
Sorry. That's pretty sexist of me. My apologies. Once again, like, don't feed into the like, these videos are even better propaganda than the exactly, all involves kind of suck. These videos are even better propaganda.
Everything posters down. These are innocent civilians in Israel.
You Israel, bitch.
These are our family members. We have family down.
And I'm pretty sure she called her a Jew bitch, and you probably shouldn't say that. Goddamn, I hope I don't get taken down from YouTube for saying it. Because I wasn't the one saying it.
You bitch.
Yes, exactly. Alright, they can't go down and ripping down other people's property. Alright.
There's no win in that situation. Alright, enough about that. As I said, that's what everybody's talking about, so I don't want to focus on it too much, but doing a news rundown show, we kinda have to cover it. Content warning for this one just in case. Northern Colorado town of Wellington. Quiet mountain town where, you know, I'm sorry, I was trying to make a South Park joke. I'm not going to, because I can't quote Cartman. Don't want to quote Cartman right now. I noticed in the latest South Park special, he doesn't call Kyle some of the names that he would usually call Kyle. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Didn't really take shots at Kyle's Jewishness in this latest South Park special, which aired at the end of last month. Evacuation orders have been lifted in northern Colorado town after an apparent home explosion. We've been covering too many of these lately.
Let's begin with breaking news tonight in northern Colorado. Evacuation orders have now been lifted in Wellington. That after a possible explosion at a home. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Janae.
And I'm Kelly.
Alan.
Wellington is located north of Fort Collins. An alert was sent out this afternoon telling people who live near Little Fox Lane and Jefferson Avenue to evacuate. That is on the east side of I-25. Your reporter for Northern Colorado, Dylan Thomas, is live on this breaking news story for us tonight in Wellington. So, Dylan, what have
Jesus, did it knock it off the foundation?
Yeah, so far, we're still gathering information as to exactly what happened, but you can see the fire department and the law enforcement are still at this house behind me. But take a look at this video. It really shows the amount of damage that was taking place to this property that, once again, as you mentioned, is off of Jefferson Avenue and Little Fox Lane in the northeast corner of the area here in Wellington. This looks to be a single family home that is right next door to a whole bunch of duplexes and condominiums. It does seem that everybody was able to get out safely, though. We're not clear on whether or not anyone was home at the time, but it does appear that there are some family members that are nearby who seem obviously rather shaken up by this entire situation. We have reached out to the Wellington Fire Department to get further information, official comment on what might have caused this, and if there might be any injuries to report, but at this time we have not heard back. We will continue to update you guys as we get more information here from Wellington, but right now all we can tell you is that this home right behind me, it seems there was some type of explosion. The windows are broken out. The garage right here behind me, as you can see, also burst out, but a lot of the damage actually to the back side of the house. We'll continue to keep you updated on any information we may get. Reporting live tonight in Wellington, Dylan Thomas, covering Colorado First.
Dylan, thank you so much.
Could have been a gas explosion. Could have been making meth. We covered one a lot of damage to the backside. Well, just in case you ever suffer damage to the backside, I got some advice for you.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
The explosion we covered, what, a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, had something to do, like a dude had like equipment to distill CBD or THC or some shit. He was making like industrial honey oil in his basement. That one happened out in California, if I remember correctly. Go down to Texas. For a lawsuit, and I'll hit the content warning on this one, because it may very well get into some graphic details. I brought up the story the other day about the child that was born with no kidneys. That mom is one of the women who was part of this lawsuit, but several other women have now joined the lawsuit, and it is expanding even further as they sue the state of Texas over their abortion laws.
A developing story related to Texas strict abortion laws. Several more women, including one from Austin, are joining a lawsuit pushing for more abortion rights when it comes to medical emergencies.
KVU's Matt Fernandez spoke with an attorney with the Center for Reproductive Rights who filed the lawsuit on behalf of nearly 24 women.
7 new plaintiffs are suing the state of Texas, saying they were denied or delayed abortions when having pregnancy complications. There are now a total of 22 Texas women taking part in the lawsuit, asking the court to give doctors clarity on what circumstances qualify as medical emergency exceptions. Astrid Ackerman is a staff attorney for the Center for Reproductive Rights. The organization filed the lawsuit on the woman's behalf.
Recognizes the rights of pregnant people as it relates to the right to abortion when there's this pregnancy complications. We want
can you still say pregnant people in Texas? It's one of the things that Sarah Huckabee Sanders went after in Arkansas. You can't say pregnant people anymore.
recognizes the rights of pregnant people as it relates to the right to abortion when there's this pregnancy complications. We want to obviously further expose the harm that this abortion bans have created.
Ackerman says the plaintiffs want doctors to be able to use their own medical judgment without fear of prosecution, something that could have prevented their situations.
Focus on pregnancy complications. The plaintiffs in the case have experienced their water breaking before viability. They have experienced pregnancies that are not going to result in a child with sustained life.
Ackerman says a trial judge agreed with the CCR's case. It now moves to an appeal at the Texas Supreme Court level, with oral arguments beginning November 28th.
What it means is that doctors in Texas will now, if the Texas Supreme Court rules in our favor, will now be able to provide care in these instances of pregnancy complications without fear of losing their license or spending life in prison.
Many of the plaintiffs will be present on the upcoming hearing but will not testify. Attorneys for both the state and CCR will go before the Supreme Court justices before a ruling is made. In Austin, Matt Fernandez, KVU News.
I don't have hope that the Texas Supreme Court will come down with the correct ruling. Shelly, it breaks my fucking heart. Because, I mean, I just highlighted two stories that have happened since the Dobbs decision. The woman in Florida whose child was born without a skull. She held the baby as it died in her arms. I did misspeak on stream the other day. I said the woman in Texas that's part of this lawsuit held her child as it died. It actually wasn't the woman, it was the father that was holding the child. So my apologies on that one. But that is just two of the numerous hundreds of stories that have come out since the Dobbs decision. Barbaric is the only way to describe it. Let's have some good news, shall we? Let's do some solidarity. Workers at a Starbucks. Maybe this is part of the war on Christmas as well, walking out ahead of Red Cup Day in Philadelphia.
Some Starbucks workers walked off the job today, including right here in Philadelphia.
According to their union, Starbucks has refused to negotiate in good faith over staffing and other issues that are particularly worse during busy holiday promotions. Coffee lovers here in Spring Garden found the doors of this location locked due to the walkout. Thousands more workers plan to walk off the job again tomorrow. Starbucks executives maintain that the union is unwilling to negotiate and has for months declined to meet for contract talks.
Have you tried to, offer them some concessions? So apparently tomorrow is Red Cup Day at Starbucks. Is that when they debut their Christmas cups or something? I don't know. I don't like Starbucks. Their coffee is not that good, and I'm a coffee snob. I will indeed get a white chocolate mocha if I am forced to, with a shot of raspberry. That's pretty good, but I mean, with all that sugar, how can it not be good? Didn't think up these ways of torturing babies before Christmas. Dustin. Let's continue our war on Christmas. Target is apparently on the front lines this year, sparking controversy and conservative outrage over woke Christmas ornaments.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
What the fuck is a woke Christmas ornament? I'm having a hard time even imagining what that is. Target is facing fresh criticism from conservatives over their Christmas ornaments. The retailer has a range of Christmas decorations available this year, including Santas of various ethnicities. Of course, Santas of varying ethnicities. One in a wheelchair, apparently. And a toy soldier carrying an LGBTQ plus pride flag and wearing a rainbow hat. Oh my God. The horror. Comes after the company suffered losses when shoppers boycotted Target for stocking Pride Month merchandise and transgender-friendly swimwear. Oh God, that's really loud, isn't it? There you can see a Santa in a wheelchair. A Santa in a wheelchair has triggered the conservatives. A nutcracker with a pride flag. How is this even fucking news? How does End Wokeness get 2 million views off of this nonsense? Wow, just wow. You would think that they would have learned from the last time. When will companies finally start to realize it? Go woke, go broke. As if you fuckers even shop at Target to begin with. Pretty sure their target audience is shit libs in the managerial class. And I don't get it. Why are you guys so into cancel culture? They fucking love cancel culture. And all this, like, make no mistake about it, all this is them wanting to try to force the LGBTQ community back in the closet. They want to boycott any kind of company that simply acknowledges that gay people exist. that trans people exist, that non-binary people exist. They want to force the community back in the closet. And you know what I say? Fuck you. We'll see who cancels who, motherfuckers.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Boycott Target now. Bud Light Target. They're still, man, the posts, because I follow all these right-wing lunatics, and the fact that they are still harping about Bud Light is insane to me. Do you not have anything better? What a fucking privileged life you lead when the only problems you have is that Bud Light had a fucking marketing campaign that you would have never heard of if Matt Walsh didn't tell you to get upset. Jesus, get a life, you stupid blue checks. Woke policies. Target was forced to close some stores after bomb threats were called in and staff assaulted over their Pride Month merchandise. In June, including a t-shirt with the slogan, "Trans people will always exist." Wow, so controversial. And a onesie, apparently. These people. Let's do this real quick. The U.S. Army has overturned the 1917 convictions of 110 black soldiers charged with mutiny. Officials announced the ceremony honoring the Buffalo Soldiers, 19 of whom were executed to atone for Jim Crow-era racism. The U.S. Army is overturning the convictions of 110 black soldiers, 19 of whom were executed for a mutiny at the Houston military camp a century ago, in an effort to atone for imposing harsh punishments linked to Jim Crow. U.S. Army officials announced the historic reversal on Monday during a ceremony posthumously honoring the regiment known as the Buffalo Soldiers. Is that what the Bob Marley song's about? I need to look into that, shouldn't I? Last night I was actually I was listening to music as I was working, and a Serj Tankian song came up. It was from his 2012 album. The song "Occupied Tears." And I'm listening to it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, these lyrics fit the struggle of Palestinians. So I had to look it up, and sure enough, it is about Palestine. So good on you, Serj. It's like, wow, these lyrics are just too on the money. Buffalo soldier who had been sent to Houston in 1917 during the First World War to guard a military training facility. Clashes arose between the regiment and white police officers and civilians. 19 people were killed. We cannot change the past. Am I trolling right now? What am I trolling about?
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
I'm not the biggest Bob Marley fan, and I'm not exactly familiar with this incident. So it's a chance for me to probably learn something. Cannot change the past. However, this decision provides the Army and the American people an opportunity to learn from this difficult moment in our history. The South Texas College of Law first requested that the Army look into the cases in October of 2020 and again in December of 2021. The Army then received clemency petitions from retired general officers on behalf of the 110 soldiers. At the Secretary of the Army's petition, the Army Board for Correction of Military Records reviewed the records of the cases and found that significant deficiencies permeated the cases. The proceedings were found to be fundamentally unfair, according to the Army's statement. The board members unanimously recommended all convictions be set aside and the military service of the soldiers to be characterized as honorable. If military service can be characterized as honorable. See, is it a term for something else? I don't know. I have to look into it. What was Bob Marley actually singing about? Speaking of black soldiers, a climate activist smeared red paint on a Washington.
It's time for Seen and Unseen, where we reveal the story
Okay.
on the headlines. For that, we turn to Fox News.
I don't think this video has anything to do. They don't even know the lyrics. I probably know the lyrics more from like Stan Marsh singing it in the episode where he's riding around on his balls. When he puts his balls in the microwave to make them super big so he can get medical marijuana. He's singing Buffalo Soldier in that episode. It's amazing to me how many pop culture references I actually know from South Park and The Simpsons. Didn't learn it in the history books. I learned it from South Park and The Simpsons. Climate activist smears red paint on a Washington, D.C. Civil War exhibit honoring black soldiers. Climate activist with a far-left advocacy group smeared red paint on an exhibit honoring an African-American regiment that fought during the Civil War during a protest at the National Gallery of Art on Tuesday. Who were they fighting for? They fighting for the North, maybe? Okay, I'm cool with that. A member of Declare Emergency, a group that calls for an immediate end of fossil fuel production and reliance, vandalized a wall in the West Building Gallery of the Washington, D.C. Museum that houses the Shaw 54th Regiment Memorial. The activist wrote, "Honor them," and explained President Biden could honor black Civil War soldiers by declaring a climate emergency. We should honor them by carrying on their work. So I say Joe Biden must declare a climate emergency in their honor, because the great majority of the people who are being harmed by the climate emergency now and who will be harmed in the future are people who look like the soldiers of the Massachusetts 54th. The 54th fought in the Civil War, and the war being waged on humanity right now, the efforts are coming down first and hardest on the most vulnerable people. This undeclared war, the weapon is greenhouse gases. Children dying of dehydration and starvation in parts of Africa today are being killed by carbon put into the Earth's atmosphere by oil and gas executives in order to make money. It is true. The activist was ultimately removed from the gallery by law enforcement minutes after he vandalized the exhibit. According to video of the protest, here is a still. Do we have the video? Of course, I went to Fox News, so why would I have the video? But we can always count on Twitter to have it for us. Ah, that makes sense, Richard. Just giving a tour right behind him. that nobody cares.
The masters and he loved children, and this is his portrait of his grandmother.
The shot that the portrait original is the first African American regiment in the Civil War. Honor.
Excuse me, sir. Vandalism is not necessary. Please exit the gallery, please. Please exit the gallery. Please exit the gallery. Please exit the gallery.
Please exit the gallery. Thank you. Exit the gallery. Thank you. Exit, please. Thank you.
Sir, please exit the gallery. Thank you. This gallery is now closed. Please exit the gallery.
Exit the gallery. Out, please. Out, please. Out, please. Out, please. Out, please. This way. This way. This way. This way.
Well, that was kind of uneventful. Not as fun as watching them smash the painting at the other one. That was in Europe, though. Here's him actually being arrested.
This way, please. Can you exit, please? Thank you. I need you to continue going that way. Thank you very much. I need you all to go that way. Thank you very much. You're not listening to me, sir. I need you to continue going that way out the gallery. I need you all to exit that way. Thank you. They need to get out. They need to get out.
We got to clear the gallery, please. We must exit the galleries until the main hall, please. Thank you. We must exit into the main.
Yeah, be sure to get you a refund if they're going to kick you out.
Exit the area. Put your camera away. Exit the area. Exit the area. Put your camera away. Exit the area. Now, we'll mention that y'all with us. That's why you're not doing it. Okay? Now, I'm ask you again. Put your cameras away. Put your cameras away.
It's a really cool statue, though. Very neat. I'd never seen it before. Did you guys hear about this? I feel like this kind of went under the radar. An enormous cosmic energy burst struck Earth so hard it scrambled radios. Wait, what? Is that a Jewish space laser? Venus, good evening. Is this a recreation or I'm not exactly sure what we're watching here. A massive gamma ray burst spotted by scientists last year is possibly the most powerful ever detected in the Earth's atmosphere. The gamma ray burst, named GRB, I guess that stands for gamma ray burst, 22109A, is thought to have caused huge variations in the electrical field of the Earth's ionosphere at a height of around 310 miles above the ground. The gamma ray bursts, the most powerful bursts of energy in the universe, are spat out from the most violent explosions known to physics, such as a neutron star collision. These immensely powerful pulses of light usually come from two opposite beams, like the rays of a lighthouse. GRB 22109A being the highest energetic GRB ever recorded by mankind. It deeply impacted also the top side ionosphere for the first time. It's according to Mirko Piersanti, a space weather researcher at Italy's University of L'Aquila, according to Newsweek. An illustration that shows the effect of the powerful blast of gamma rays that provoked a significant disturbance in our planet's ionosphere last year. Kind of remember that now. That happened like in the fall, didn't it? We went on the photon flux peak. Isn't that the thing in the DeLorean that you go like 88 miles per hour? And it sends you back to the future? The photon flux peak. Its photon flux peak of about 6 million per second. Previously, the highest GRB delivered was 500,000 photons per second. Jesus! Was able to double ionize the entire ionosphere, generating intense electric current that we were able to observe for the first time ever using in situ low Earth orbit satellite measurement of the electric field. I have no clue what the fuck I just read. The GRB occurred on October 9th, 2022. Oh, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. Oh, no. Yeah, it was last year. I don't even know what fucking year it is. It happened in the Sagitti cluster, a constellation. Lasted around 7 minutes, but it was observed for roughly 10 hours after it was first detected. It is thought to have originated around 2 billion years ago, possibly due to a massive star undergoing a supernova or birthing a black hole. So it happened 2 billion years ago, and we got it last year. Just remember, I had a dude come onto the show and tell me that the fucking Earth is only 6,000 years old. $2 billion. 2 billion. 2 billion years ago. You know, I've never seen dudes Where's My Car. You would think that movie would be right up my alley. A horse got loose on a plane. Gospel singer Bobby Storm. Sorry. I think I'm conflating two different stories here. We'll get to the horse on the plane here in a second. Gospel singer Bobby Storm, which my two best friends in high school, right? They trained in wrestling. Battle Opossum, who you see in here from time to time, my bestest friend in the whole wide world. A professional wrestler. He was trained by a man named Bobby Storm. Purgatorus, good evening. Bobby Storm was a real one too. Let me tell you my Bobby Storm story. So this is the dude that trained my best friends in wrestling. I went to the school. I went for a couple of training sessions. I'm not a trained wrestler. I refereed a few of their matches and shit. So I knew Bobby well. He ran the wrestling school, and he was a really swell guy. Unfortunately, he became a sheriff's deputy. He lived just a little ways down from one of my buddies. I'm driving to my buddy's house one night, and I see a cop car pulling out of Bobby's driveway. And this is like a 2-lane road. It's backwoods. There's no other cars on the road. I see the car pulling out, and it gets behind me. So I start swerving all over the fucking road. Like laughing my ass off. Like, I'm gonna make Bobby pull me over. So I pull into my buddy's house. Cop car pulls in behind me. And Bobby Storm doesn't get out of the car. Some other dude I don't know got out of the car. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, holy shit. I'm sorry. I thought you were Bobby. Bobby gets out of the passenger side, laughing his fucking ass off. One time, me and my buddy got the munchies, and we went down to the Double Quick, and Bobby, in uniform, sitting there with one of his buddies. You could still smoke in the gas station at this time. Sitting there, there's like smoking cigarettes. We come in, and Bobby starts like laughing his ass off, like, "Aha, you guys have been smoking that pot, haven't you?" With his cop buddy sitting next to him. I liked old Bobby Storm. Anyway. Gospel singer Bobby Storm, no relation to Bobby Storm, who passed away like 10 years ago, almost kicked off plane for singing after a flight attendant asked her to stop. It was just me spreading my joy with people, adding that the passengers on the flight had given her the go to do so. Ma'am, if I was on that flight, I'd be telling you to shut the fuck up. Gospel singer. Was almost kicked off a Delta Airlines flight after she ignored a flight attendant's request to stop singing on the plane. And there's video.
I can sit down and I'll sit down. The seatbelt signs off. The seatbelt signs off. It's not a disturbance. Once you hit. It's right here, babe.
Okay, have a seat.
I am. I'm gonna have a seat. Okay, so watch me bless him. So I used to sing on planes a long time ago. I just found out I'm up for 2 Grammys. My very first time, you guys. My name is Bobby Storm.
Oh, fuck off.
And I'm up for 2 Grammys. I sing for the Lord, and my song is out on all platforms.
So apparently the Grammys was tonight?
It's called We Can't Forget 'Em. Michael McDonald cleared it. Warren G is on the original record as well. It's with Regulators. I want to share this with you guys. I wanted to do it when I first got on the plane.
Wait, Warren G is making gospel music now? Like, what the fuck?
But I was like, you know, I haven't done this in a while. I've gotten to the next status, so.
Are you able to be quiet?
But they're enjoying it. So while we're sitting here, could I please?
I'm not enjoying it. So I'm asking you, can you be quiet?
Okay, well, I'll find that up.
That's a yes or no answer, please.
Am I going to go to jail if I don't?
Can you please answer my question? Are you willing and able to be quiet right now?
I'm doing what the Lord is telling me to do.
I'm asking you a question, yes or no. I'm your flight leader. I need you to.
The Lord isn't telling you shit. You just want to be recognized by people.
Follow my instruction.
Okay.
My instruction for you to answer my question. Are you able to be quiet?
What do you guys think?
I'm asking you, ma'am.
I'm asking you guys. What do you guys think?
Okay. If you're not able to follow my instruction, you will not be taking this flight.
Ah, okay.
Are you
so
able to be quiet?
If that's the case, then that's fine. If you were the person in charge of it all.
I'm your flight leader, yes.
If you're the person in charge.
Attention whore for the Lord.
All right. Thank you.
I love that people are dragging her. This is her page. Hope the man got a pay rise for advocating for the rest of the passengers. Why is this giving me secondhand embarrassment? 8,332 likes.
So I'll sing it on the low for y'all in the back, if that's okay.
No, stop.
So the song is called We Can't Forget 'Em. All right, and you can download it. I don't know the issue. No one else has ever had an issue, but it's. Father, I thank you for each day in my life. I realize I don't need anything. I need you.
Oh, yeah. If they were singing about Allah on the plane, the fucking sky marshals be tackling them in the fucking aisle. God damn.
Shine your light, I follow. Oh Lord, I try to pretend I can do without you, but I'll be out of my mind, doing things my way, losing faith, just living life blind. But I don't want this life no more. Oh Lord,
I think it sucks.
Regulate my mind, my heart and soul. I keep forgetting I've been through this before.
And she's got her phone out. She's recording. She was putting it on the gram, on the TikTok.
I keep forgetting that this battle is not mine, it's yours. I keep forgetting we gotta learn the hard way. I keep forgetting we can't forget it. So just so you know, if you're on this flight, you have been, thank you so much. You gotta clap on the low. I know. Thank you so much. So look up Maverick City. Maverick City has an album out right now. They are a contemporary gospel group, and I have been blessed to be a part of that album. That's called We Can't Forget Them. Yep, We Can't.
Oh, so it's not even her as a solo artist.
Everywhere, it's on the billboards. So, you know, people like that, you know, they spirits a little, they can't accept it, but I'm here to spread what God needs me to spread. I'm here to spread that because that's what's gotten me where I am. I quit my job in October of last year, and I just went out by faith, and now here I am. So remember the space and chase the storm. All right, y'all, BOBBI, storm like the weather. Thank you guys, for sure. Thank you guys.
And Bobby, you're what now? A 2-time Grammy nominated?
Yes, just as of today, 2-time Grammy nominated with Maverick City, the Maverick way. Thank you. Thank you.
I feel embarrassed promoting my shit on my own fucking stream. Next time I'm on a flight, I'm just gonna be like, watch the Troll Patrol live. Find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I want to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Well, she just quit her job last year, so. And I don't think being a gospel artist really brings in all that much money. The story, her name is Bobby Storm. That is not the only disturbance that happened on a plane this week. A horse got loose on board a cargo plane after leaving JFK. A cargo plane was forced to dump fuel and divert to JFK International Airport last week after a horse got loose on board. On November 9th, a Boeing 747 chartered by... okay, so it wasn't this week. It was last week, wasn't it? Chartered by Air Atlanta, Icelandic took off from the New York airport destined for Belgium. The plane was over 30,000 feet in altitude near Boston. A horse broke free in the cargo hold. Yes, sir, we are a cargo plane with a live animal, a horse on board. The pilot told air traffic control, and apparently we have audio of this. Always down for some horse audio.
Boston, Alpha Pro Delta 4592, climbing flight level 330.
Atlanta 4592, Boston Center, welcome.
Thanks. And Boston Center, Alpha Pro Delta 4592.
Atlanta 4592, guys.
Yes, sir, we are a cargo plane. We have live animal horse on board the airplane, and the horse managed to escape his stall.
And the horse keeps singing shitty gospel music.
We don't have a problem as of flying-wise, but we need to return back to New York. We cannot get the horse back secure.
Atlanta 4592, Roger. You are cleared to Kennedy via radar vectors. For now, fly your present heading. Descend and maintain flight level 220.
Okay, radar vectors, present heading, descend now, flight level 220, 4592, thank you.
Atlanta 4592, fly heading 010.
Heading 010, Atlanta 4592.
Why Why are they transporting the horse? I'm assuming this is like some kind of fucking fancy horse, right? Why are you flying a horse from New York to Belgium?
Atlanta 4592. I have routing to Kennedy when you're ready to copy.
Standby. Okay, from Atlanta 4592, go ahead.
Atlanta 4592, you are cleared when able. A left turn direct to Sierra Echo Yankee to join the Part 3 arrival.
Okay, Sierra Echo Yankee to Part 3 arrival, Atlanta 4592. Thank you, sir.
Sounds like the plane had some wild horses. Oh, fucking shit. I was really hoping. Why did they have to dump fuel because the horse got loose? If they were too heavy with the horse in the stall, why would they not be the same? That makes no sense to me. I was really hoping the horse audio would be like brrr, brrr, in the background as the dude was on the radio to air traffic control. It's just why? What the fuck? Oh, because they're not flying as far as they were supposed to. They would be too heavy when they okay. Pilot received permission to divert and made a U-turn near the Canadian border. In order to safely return to JFK, the pilot dumped 20 tons of fuel over the Atlantic, right into the ocean. Unclear how the horse got loose, but the crew asked to have a vet meet the plane back at the airport. The flight reached its final destination. If you're talking about flights, you probably shouldn't say final destination. Kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. In Liege, Belgium, the next day, according to flight tracking data. If it's a fancy horse, like, isn't it well behaved? Like, if it's a racing horse, maybe they only know how to go fast. They got the zoomies or something. Can you imagine a horse with the zoomies on a plane? Okay, that could be an interesting scenario. But if it's like a dressage horse or something, like, doesn't it take commands well? What kind of a stall do they have for a horse? I have so many questions. I couldn't remember if I played this video or not. Could have actually gave you the horse video as your animal video of the night. But I guess you get a twofer. I can't remember if I played this one or not, but Kitty wants some food. It's music. It's not somebody talking to the cat. Let that kitty have a bite. A stall on a plane is rich people shit. That's some bougie fucking shit. He's so hungry. Look at him licking his lips. What even is that? Some kind of a cake or some shit? Where are they even at? There's an ashtray on the table. There's a cat loose and you can smoke in this establishment. I'm into it. Where is this at? That doesn't look like a pack of cigarettes I've ever seen, so I assume this is not a U.S. establishment. Anybody have any idea what that dessert is? I assume it's a dessert. Korea. Okay, that would make sense. Is this woman, like, is she videotaping the cat from the other side? Everybody's amused by the cat's antics. That's the young lady I've been talking to. She is currently in France, and I said something about quitting smoking 7 or 8 years ago or something, and then I was like, haven't you been around a lot of, because we were talking about like I can't even be around it anymore. And I was like, wait a minute, like weren't you around a lot of people smoking in Paris? I look at that cat, it ain't starving. That's a well taken care of cat. It just, like, fuck it, that's like saying Socks over here is starving. He acts like he is. He ain't. Starving, buddy? He'd tell you he is. He ain't. Probably ate more than I have today. That's not true. I've ate several pieces of pizza. Reheated some jerk chicken I made last night with some macaroni and cheese. God damn, did I make some awesome macaroni and cheese last night after the stream. Also, I left like, I used most of the block of cheese, but there's like a fifth of it maybe left. I mean, I didn't actually make jerk chicken. It was just jerk marinade, right? Caribbean jerk marinade. And I marinated the chicken, cooked it in my, what the fuck? I just bought that thing and I fucking love it. I've never had a Dutch oven. I've never had a Dutch oven before. Well, technically, like, jerk chicken is like a whole process. But man, like, that Dutch oven is very rarely clean. I have made so much shit in it. I am sorry, Venus. My apologies. But boy, do I love my Dutch oven. I'm so glad I bought it, because I was like, do I want another crock pot or do I want to get a Dutch oven? And I got the Dutch oven. I have not regretted it. I've made so much shit in that. I probably shouldn't have had the lid on for the jerk chicken though, because like I didn't really get the you know, the kind of burnt coating to it that I usually like, because I think like it kept all the moisture in. So next time I use it, I'll take the lid off and hopefully get that, you know, that kind of burnt stickiness to it. The marinade just kind of turned into a watery substance. I mean, it's still good. I had put it, yeah, I should have broiled it. Should have took the lid off and broiled it, yep. I'd actually put it up to marinade before the stream started last night. So I got straight off and stuck it in the oven, made my macaroni and cheese. Had some sweet corn with it. Eating good. Sorry, I love food. And I just ate right before the fucking stream and I'm already hungry again. Like this cat. That's how I feel about food. Okay, so I'm a big fan of the broiler. I love to broil shit, 'cause I love to get a good crud, like, especially like hamburgers. I'll fry a hamburger, and then I'll put whatever cheese I want on top of it, stick it under the broiler for about 2 or 3 minutes. That's how I finish my pizzas off, 2 or 3 minutes on the broiler, get the cheese all nice and bubbly. But here's the thing, is the fire alarm in this apartment is way too close to the stove in here. I can boil water and it sets off the fire alarm. So, shit, I have set off the fire alarm so many goddamn times using the broiler. Yep. I think Curious and I set it off one time. We were standing over there at the countertop and we were smoking. She like blew it over towards the fire alarm and it set it off. It's very sensitive. But I mean, at least like it's not like when I was in college, right? I lived in the family housing in college, because I went back when I was like 27, 28. So because of my age, they let me live in the family housing. I had like a nice little apartment. But you set off the fire alarm and everybody has to leave the building. The fire department has to show up and everything. God damn, did that suck. I'm with you, kitty. I'm hungry. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I am JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night.